Okay, I'm gonna start this video by saying I don't think Jalen Brunson should be the MVP. As much as I was so prepared to campaign for him to get that award, I checked the standings, and Denver has 8 more wins than the Knicks right now, and OKC has 7. And as much as I love Brunson and want to have that agenda, like that's just too many wins to make up. So I think it's one of those two guys for MVPs. But I was thinking, like, after the Knicks beat Milwaukee last night, they're now 1 game back of the Bucks for the number 2 seed. And I was just thinking, like, if the Knicks get the number 2 seed, why isn't Brunson a top 3 MVP candidate? Just look at his entire argument. Well, first of all, the stats are insane, right? He's 4th in scoring. He's top 15 in assists. He has the 4th most 30-point games in the NBA this season. He's tied for 2nd in the number of 40-point games this season. And so like the stats are there. And you think about how, like, you know, think about everything he's had to go through this season, where first of all, just like in general, he is the engine to everything the Knicks do at the offensive end. Okay, he is their best guy. He is their closer. He's closed so many tight games for them. So there's that. Like, his importance on face value is massive, right? But then you think about everything he's had to go through, where, you know, this team has undergone so many changes this season, where, you know, they start off with RJ and IQ, then they make the trade for OG, then they make the trade for Grimes. They trade Grimes for Bogdanovich and Burks, and so there's so many different moving parts. And then what's the constant in it all? It's Jalen Brunson. He is the engine who makes everything go, and that engine has had to have an even bigger impact because, you know, you factor in all those moving pieces. Okay, but again, he's been the constant, but he's also been the constant through a lot of injuries, where Julius Randle has missed the entire second half of the season. OJ Anunoby has been in and out of the lineup with that elbow thing. So, like, you just think of all the moving parts, both trade-wise and injury-wise, and Brunson's been the lone constant through it all. Mitch Robinson also had injuries, so I had to deal with that. So, and just Brunson's just been, like, the constant, you know, through it all, the engine to everything the Knicks do, and he's been doing it at such a high level. And so, like, when you look at all that stuff, when you look at impact, when you look at value, it's like, I don't really know. And again, if they get that number 2, if they're the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference with all the injuries they've had, how can you not just, like, immediately point to Brunson and say, dude, this is you? Obviously, it's been such a team effort. DiVincenzo shot the ball insanely well. Hartenstein, Josh Hart. But, like, again, Brunson is the engine that makes it all work. You saw it last night in Milwaukee. He had 43 points on the Bucks, okay, to lead that win. They were down double digits. They've already lost to Milwaukee 3 times this season on the road. It could have easily happened again. And again, it's always a team effort. Like, DiVincenzo shot so well. Deuce McBride has been such a breakout. But, like, Brunson is the engine that makes everything go. And we talk about value and valuable, most valuable player. Again, I'm not saying he should be the most valuable player, because I think, again, when you have 7, 8 more wins than another guy, like, I think that's it. But, like, in terms of, like, everyone else, and I know you might be sitting there saying, like, okay, fine, like, take this, what's essentially a 3rd place trophy. That's a really weird thing to be advocating for. Like, okay, fine, here, take 3rd place, enjoy it. But I think the reason I feel so strongly about this is because I think so much of the conversation around the Knicks this season, and around Jalen Brunson, has just been about literally everything else, where from the Knicks, it's been about the trades they've made and the injuries they've had to deal with. And then with Brunson on an individual level, it's been so much about what he isn't, right? Whether it's Becky Hammon, whether it's Kenny Smith, it's all about, the Knicks don't always have the best player on the floor, which is just an objective lie, because Jalen Brunson was the best player on the floor last night. Or, you know, they don't have that 1A guy, or, like, all the talk, all the national media has been about, they still need to add that one piece, they still need to add that one piece. And that might be true, but I feel like that's just done such a disservice to what Jalen Brunson is doing, and you just see it everywhere. Like, the NBA.com just released their top 10 for MVP, and Brunson's not even on the list. Brunson didn't even crack top 10. You know who did crack top 10? Domantas Sabonis, Kings are the 8th seed, Anthony Davis, Lakers are the 9th seed. And it's not about discrediting all the stuff those guys are doing, but, like, if we want to reward winning and value and all that stuff, like, I just my point is that, you know, again, through all this talk about what the Knicks aren't and what Jalen Brunson isn't, I think we've lost sight of one of the most insane seasons ever, where this dude who is 6'2", 190 pounds, I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, this dude is smaller than me, and he's torching defenses for almost 30 a night on great efficiency, despite dealing with so many new players, so many new circumstances in terms of trades and injuries. He's just powering through it all to the point where it's a team effort, but he's the engine, and he's powering the Knicks to what could be a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I know the East isn't as deep as the West, but like for all those circumstances, and you consider his size, like again, he's not the MVP, but like I do think he deserves the kind of credit that he's not getting, where it's one of the most insanely impressive seasons ever. Because again, you look at his undersized stature and the fact that he's not doing it. He's shooting above 40% from 3, but like he's not a Steph Curry, he's not a Damian Lillard, he's not torching guys from 3 like that. It's a lot of it's going on in the paint. He's going in amongst the trees, amongst the big guys. He gets whacked so many times a game, and he's powering through it. And as a Knicks fan who watches him almost every night, I just think like we're not giving him the credit and the flowers he deserves as a national conversation, as a general NBA fan base. And I think obviously we should be doing that, but I think one of the big ways we could do that, and we should do that, is again, if the Knicks are top 2 in the East, when you factor in his numbers, his importance to this team, his even greater importance to this team when you factor in, all the injuries they've had to deal with, and how it's put so much more burden on him, and how he's carried it all through it so successfully, better than anyone could have expected. I do think that deserves some form of, tangible recognition. Now, in fairness, he was an all-star. He's probably going to be no worse than second-team All-NBA, but I think, I don't think it's crazy to say that this dude has been one of the 3 most valuable players in the NBA this season, especially if the Knicks get the number 2 seed. And I think he deserves that. And I don't think that's crazy to say it. And I don't know, what do you think? That's just how I feel. And I don't know if we're going to see it. Because I think, again, it's Shea and it's Jokic, and then people might say Luka or Giannis or even Tatum because they're 60+ wins. But I don't know. I just think Brunson deserves a lot more recognition than what he's getting, and I think this could be a good way. Like, MVP is the award, and so to be top 3, that's really something. And I don't know if he's gonna get it, but I definitely think he should.